Is success lonely? According to someone on my LinkedIn feed today, yes, success is lonely. It caught my eye. It was designed to catch your eye. 55% of senior level women said they felt lonely at work in the past month. 60% of women said their sense of isolation increased as their career progressed. Those sound like compelling statistics. You know what I'm not seeing a whole lot around here though? Context. What do we know about these facts? Facts? Nothing except for the fact that they come from Fast Company. And, important context, the person posting this has a PhD and is an expert in data. That pains me. That actually pains me because here's a person who should know that context matters. I'm sure that they do know that context matters, but maybe because it's social or, like people won't read a ton of information or it'll just, whatever reason it is, doesn't provide the full context in what they're sharing. That's so disappointing to me. It's disappointing to me. It's also, to me, wrong. Do not share data. Do not share facts without providing the effing context. I don't want anyone taking someone's word for it because they have a fancy degree or because they're in a publication that you think is well respected. That is not enough. You deserve to know the full context of stats. So let's look at it. Fast Company, March 11th last year, they had this report. The report says the same thing this person shares on their LinkedIn. 55% of senior level women felt lonely at their jobs at least once in the past month. 60% of women in leadership say their feelings of loneliness or isolation actually increased as their careers progress. The only context that Fast Company gives this is that this is from researchers surveying more than 600 men and women. I don't know anything about these men or women. I don't know how many of those more than 600 people were men and how many were women. I don't know what kind of companies they worked at. I don't know what the distribution of the roles were that they had in their company. I don't know what country they were in. I don't know what city, what state they were in. I don't know anything about them other than that they were people who answered this survey. Heck, I don't even know what the survey question looked like. It was more than 600 men and women, and it came from Leadership Community, The List, Creative Agency, Berlin Cameron, and research firm Benenson Strategy. Oh, but at least they linked to the report in this article, right? Wrong. But shout out to Fortune, because Fortune magazine does link to the report in their article reporting the same thing. It's right here. See, Fortune says the study. So I clicked the study. And I went here, I think it's The List. I don't know, I'm gonna call it The List. Here's The List study, The Cost of Loneliness, Women, Work, and the Invisible Force That's Undermining Them as They Rise. Super compelling, super dramatic. I get it, I get why people are clicking it, I get why people are writing articles about it. Scroll down and I get to, finally, some place where I can download the full report. Thank God. Now maybe it's just me, but I hear full report, I'm thinking, all right, they're gonna give me like the background of the study. They're gonna tell me the methods they use. Maybe they'll even share their survey questions. They're definitely going to tell me more about the sample, the people who took the survey, right? Well, let's take a look. Click in, download the full report. Oh, this just looks like a bunch more of facts and quotes. This is the report. Right here, really tiny, right? Right here in this itty bitty text is the only part that gives any context for this report. This should be no surprise to you. Here's what it says. We surveyed more than 600 men and women. That's old news. We knew that from the articles, right? Here's what they add. Of diverse identities, including women of color, LGBTQ plus women, and women with disabilities. To get an intersectional look at biases and barriers, women of color include Black, Latina, Asian, Native American, American Indian, Indigenous or Alaskan Native, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, Middle Eastern, or mixed race women. Do we know how many men versus how many women were surveyed? No, we do not. They say they want to capture diverse identities, but they also don't tell us the breakdown of people who identify in these different ways in terms of like the number of them that responded to these questions. So again, where's the context? Where's the full information? Where's transparency? If there was go to your room, you've been a bad researcher, this would be it. According to survey data from more than 600 men and women that we can't give any more specifics about, 60% of the women in leadership, which we don't define, felt more lonely as their careers progressed, but we don't define how we measured loneliness or what it means or what career progression looks like or what that means. But let's share it everywhere. Let's talk about how success is lonely, according to these ambiguous more than 600 men and women. It needs to become the norm to include full context when you are sharing data, especially if it's in a dang report. But even if it's just an article, even if it's just in a social media post, share the dang context. Who did the data come from? That's not just a number, not just ambiguous more than 600 men and women. Get specific. I can't make sense of whether this data is credible or meaningful to me or meaningful to communities that I'm part of or that I care about if I don't have this full context. I can just continue along sharing a fact that in my opinion is essentially meaningless without the context. So I don't even know what to say. This is just, sometimes I wonder, like, if I just started commenting on things, just being like, oh, like, says who? Tell me more about these people. Like, would that, like, how do we change behavior here? Genuinely, how do we start to change this behavior? Because there's too much of this going on. I'm, like, pretty successful. I do think success is lonely. I would see that and be like, yeah, agree, share. And that would be wrong of me because that would be me contributing to the spread of misinformation. I don't know, I think misinformation, like total lies made up, but like misinformation, misleading, missing important context. That's bad too.